I arrived in Vladivostok and then spent a night there, and then head on the train straight to Blagoveshchensk, which we thought was only 12 hours away, but turned out to be 3 days away, which was sort of funny because I was not able to speak the language on this sort of train that was rocking through the night, thinking, I must get off soon, and asking people who didn't speak English, but they kept saying, it's okay, and I thought, okay, it'll be the next stop. It was 2 days later. So I took this on the first night I arrived in Russia, flew into Vladivostok, found a hotel, and then went out with my camera. And this was down by there was a waterfront, and it was a shooting gallery, and I photographed from here, did a few other pictures, and then I went inside. The guy with the gun was very drunk, and he was also very, very dangerous. And I didn't realize this until afterwards, because he saw me taking pictures and said stop, and I sort of laughed and smiled and kept taking pictures, kept taking pictures of him, and he pointed the gun at me, to my face, and I laughed again and sort of put the camera down, and then he tried to grab the camera, and I just turned around and walked away, and he didn't follow me, and that was fine. And then I realized afterwards, having walked around the area, that there were a lot of heavies, gangsters were there. He was extremely drunk, and I could really have easily got a pellet in my eye. We really wanted to get into China, not necessarily to show China, but to show how close China was, and the future, obviously, is going to be China-Russia relations. And as I say, it is literally just you can see it at night. You see the lights of China across the way, and it's much more glittery and colourful. And as soon as you go across, it's a totally different atmosphere. There's a sort of gaiety to it, because it's a bit of a frontier town, and it's all about commerciality and selling stuff and getting the Russians to buy their goods. So it's all very happy. We were there for 2 days, and I was very happy to get back to Russia after the 2 days, I have to say, because it was all just so superficial and quite unreal. And if you're Russian, you can do it. You can get a day visa, and I think they spend the night there. And what happens is a lot of people go there just for shopping, but then a lot of people go there commercially to shop. So they're like couriers, and they come back with these bags. This is just it's in China, but it's just on the border. They're walking to the boat, in fact, and you can really tell. You can tell that they're very cheap bags. They've been sent probably with a shopping list of what to get. They know exactly what to buy, and for that they'll get paid something, or they'll just get a free night in a hotel, a few meals, a few drinks. This is a shopping mall in Heihe, and you can see this lady with the blonde hair and her child is obviously not Chinese, from Russia, and there was light coming in from the top of the ceiling, and you could see that at certain times it would illuminate someone's hair. So it was interesting to get this Russian amongst the Chinese. You see these women in jobs. Often, I mean, this I guess is the Soviet legacy. It's equality for women. Women should be allowed to work and should work and be independent in some way financially. But they often end up in these kind of administrative jobs, fairly menial. But they do have a little bit of power, because you have to go to them to buy a ticket or to register or whatever, and they use that power, to their advantage. And it was always very interesting when I was queuing up for tickets, or I was with somebody who was on my behalf buying a ticket. It was always a chance to get a picture of of these women. I'd been doing a series of pictures in America, in color, slightly skew with view of life, and this is what Gary and I had talked about. Try to do the same kind of approach in Russia. And when I got there first, I thought it was going to be impossible, because everything looked so ugly and everything was so garish, and it was like everything was like a sort of an IKEA, an IKEA look to it. It was very modern, very garish, characterless, shiny, brand new, and just there was every bit of irony was sucked out of it. So obviously, then you turn to people for that sort of humour. There was an admission fee of 200 rubles or whatever, and then there'd be an extra fee for taking pictures, and it wasn't very much money, but obviously they wanted their money. And I walked in and I saw this woman. She was actually asleep behind this moose thing, and I I took a picture of her, first of all, asleep, and then I had to crouch down to get between the legs of the animal. And then so I took a picture of her asleep, and then I stood up again so she didn't see me. And then when I went down to take this picture, she was looking for me. And I don't think she was worried about me taking a picture of her asleep. I think what she was worried about was had I paid the fee, which when I showed her the ticket, she was very happy. I think I probably went back to sleep. So this was a christening, a baptism of a number of people. The women in the background wearing their bathrobes, they're going to be christened as well. But first of all, they did the children. It was an amazing experience, actually, because they old world, the feeling was very old world. And then as soon as I left this place, I was back in Khabarovsk and, modern Russia and the whole thing. So there is this interesting coexistence in Russia of the old and the new, always. I had been in another hotel, and I saw this casino in the hotel. I thought this would be a great place to stay for a couple of days because it was well located, but also I might be able to get a picture of the casino. And I tried to get permission again, and nobody would even talk to me about this. And I walked in, and I knew it was going to be one shot, and then I was going to be, unceremoniously kicked out. And maybe there'd be worse things, like they'd try and take the camera or delete the pictures. But anyway, I walked in, I took the picture, and sure enough, guys came running over. But because I was staying in the hotel, they couldn't really go so far. So I got that one picture. You absolutely have to have the camera around your neck the whole time, because it'll be when you don't expect it that you're going to get that moment. And I was booking into this hotel, and this is the hotel where the casino was. And I was literally checking in. I had the camera around my neck, and I saw this woman doing this. Just took a step back, took the picture, and continued to register. I had this strange sort of soundtrack playing in my head. It was almost like kind of a Benny Hill. That kind of Benny Hill music was playing in the back of my head as I was thinking about these situations. The ladies bending over with the bags, and the woman on the flight from on the Aeroflot flight with the blue uniform. She was bustling up and down, in this very tight uniform, and there was a Benny Hill element to all this.